Therefore, this particular ceremony that we are performing today is to give spiritual initiation. Spiritual initiation does not mean, as we may think in America, an occasion upon which a big reception is held, all of one's friends and relatives are invited, everyone gets completely drunk, dances with everyone else's wife, and you give the young initiated boy his first cigar. This is not actually spiritual initiation. This is a very good material initiation. It is a very nice material initiation, but it is not spiritual initiation. So we are trying to show what spiritual initiation is. In spiritual initiation, you actually do the opposite. You agree. When one is spiritually initiated, it is the opposite. He agrees, I will not have any illicit sex. Not that we take a picture of him sitting with all of his girlfriends, but we promise that there will be no illicit sex in my life. That means if he likes, he can get married, he can have children, but other than that, he will not have sex. Does this mean that he is repressed or frustrated? No. Because he's trained to have spiritual pleasure. We should not be proud that we can have very frequent sex life, or think that because a man is very good at sex, therefore he's a very big man. Because we have to point out that such common and low animals as pigs, dogs, pigeons, and asses, they also have lots of sex. So I'm a human being. I have human intelligence. By my intelligence, I can distinguish that there's a soul within my body. That the pig, he cannot distinguish that there's a soul in his body. A pig or a dog, they cannot read scriptures, they cannot chant God's name, they can simply eat and sleep, they can have sex, and they can fight with each other. But we are not meant to be like pigs and dogs and restrict our activities to eating very nicely in fancy restaurants, living in a very nice condominium or mansion, very nice house, defending ourselves with so many nuclear weapons, and then very active, very vigorous sex life. Nowadays, people think that if I do these things, then my life is perfect, I am successful, I've made it. This is not a fact. Because these four activities, while they cannot be denied or repressed, alone, they constitute only animal life and not human life. We also eat, we also sleep, we also can defend ourselves, and we also have marriage life with sex and procreation. But we do not limit ourselves to these things. These things are basic necessities. Just like one has to go to the bathroom, but he should not congratulate himself that today I've gone to the bathroom 3 times, now I'm a big man. Now my life is successful. No. So in the same way, just because one can eat in a nice restaurant or sleep in a penthouse or have very nice sex, these are simply bodily necessities. They don't mean that life is successful. Simply to fulfill these bodily necessities. Life becomes successful when we can understand God and understand the soul within this body. So it is very important to point out that understanding God does not mean, as people, it has become very popular to say nowadays, or whatever you think, that's all right, if it makes you happy, whatever you believe. But this is anarchy. This is spiritual anarchy. Just like, for example, if we give someone a driver's license, we don't tell him, you just drive however it makes you happy. You just get in that car, turn on the engine, and just do whatever you feel like doing. Just be happy. No. There are traffic laws. There are rules and regulations. You have to stop here, turn here. So in this way also, there are laws of God, and we have to follow them. Then we can be free. So we have to study what God is. In America, we study very scientifically practically everything except God. For example, we have big departments in the universities to study oceanography. We want to study the ocean. They send down bathyscaphs and submarines to study the ocean. And we have geology, archaeology, and related sciences to study the land. Similarly, we have space science and also science of anatomy, biology, psychology. We have so many sciences. We Americans are very proud that we are very scientific. But where is the science to study the soul? Where is the science to study God? We are so scientific, but when it comes to God, we suddenly become unscientific and we say, oh, whatever you think is all right, it doesn't matter. Why doesn't it matter? Why does it matter so much whether it's going to rain or not tomorrow, what the weather will be, or exactly what the fish look like in the bottom of the ocean, or to dig up in archaeology, want to dig up so many things, find out what people looked like 7,000 years ago. We want to study everything scientifically. We want to study history and biology, everything we want to study except God. That we don't care. We simply say it doesn't matter, whatever you think is all right. So this is a disgrace that in every other field we are so scientific, but when it comes to God we are so whimsical and so disinterested. Whatever you think is all right. This kind of lack of seriousness is spoiling this country. So when we say that we are not this body, that we are the soul within this body, this is not our opinion. This can be demonstrated. I will now demonstrate it. Everyone can understand by little contemplation that previously he or she was a young boy or girl. And when we were a young boy or a young girl, we had a very tiny body. We were playing with our little body. So now, where is that body? Where is that young girl's body or young boy's body that was playing? That's gone. Actually, it is a fact of science that every 7 years your body is changing. Just like, for example, your hair is growing, you cut it off, your nails, your skin. So in this way, all the parts of the body are replaced in 7 years' time. And in fact, you have a body made of new elements. So therefore, the body is different. But we are still the same person. If a child leaves his home, leaves his family, and then comes back in 10 years, immediately his mother will embrace him, or his father will embrace him. They'll say, my son has come back. But the body hasn't come back. The body that walked out is not the same body that just walked back in. It's a different, scientifically it's a different body, but still you say it's my son. Why? Because the soul has come back. The same body hasn't come back. It's actually a different body. So who is that person whom we are loving? If you say, I love my son, or I love my father, or I love my wife, whom are you actually loving? Are you loving this body, or are you loving something else which is inside the body? Actually, it is that something else, because his body is changing, but we remain the same person. You can understand, you can feel that I'm still the same person I always was. I may be in a different place now, I'm doing something different, but I'm the same person. But that's not the same body. So practically any fool can understand that we are not this body. But unfortunately, our entire American or Western civilization is based on the idea that I am this body. That I'm American, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm so many years old, I'm black, I'm white, I'm Christian, I'm Hindu. But these things only describe the body, but we are not the body. So our entire civilization is in fact based on a mistake. And because it's based on a mistake, everything is coming out wrong. Just like we've built all these big cities so we can have a comfortable life. But unfortunately, there are juvenile gangs, there's drug addiction, there's pollution, there are new diseases. There are so many problems. And we cannot overcome these problems. Our solutions simply cause more problems. We try to solve our problems and we create more problems because it's all based on a mistake. That mistake is thinking, number one, that I'm this body, man or woman, young or old, American or Chinese, I am this material body, this flesh and bones. And the second mistake is thinking that the purpose of our life is to gratify this body. So if we accept, if we are determined, stubborn, to go on thinking that I'm a body and the purpose of my life is to gratify this body, then don't talk about spiritual life. Don't talk about religion. Because you won't find this in any religion. This is our concoction, our imagination. Then we are simply atheist, materialist, and don't talk about spiritual life. I'm Christian, I'm Jewish, I'm Hindu. If we want to accept that I'm a body and the purpose of life is to gratify this body, then we should not be hypocrites and pretend that we belong to some religion.